Oh man.
All right, hey everyone. Trying something a little different with the audio, so it might be out of sync between what I'm saying and what you're hearing. So I'm gonna be messing with that throughout the stream. Hopefully it's okay. I'll type it in case I didn't get a chance to test it. So I'll type it and see what you guys think. Good morning, Pete. So if there's a difference between me moving my lips and the audio saying the word lips, then let me know if the audio comes first or if the video comes first or if it's roughly okay. I gotta mess with the delay because, yeah. Let's see, Sumit. A video for displaying Twitter tweets on an OLED. That's actually a good idea. Yeah, get on post requests. I haven't messed around with the Twitter API in a while. I know they, did a few restrictions for how many messages you can be sending. A lot of people were not too happy about that. So it'll be a good reminder to see how to, how to mess around with Twitter. But that's a good one. I'm actually, I want to do all sorts of fun stuff, like trying to hook up hardware that you can interact with during the stream. So yeah, I have a little OLED here. And, right now I'm focusing on getting your messages to control LEDs, to control maybe motors. And having the username being displayed on, for people on the stream, having your username displayed on the OLED, I think would be a great project. So that's a good idea. I have maybe 2 or 3 videos lined up. So once I get through those, that sounds like a good idea to try to make something. Hey Nico, how you doing? No worries. You're welcome, Summit. Anyone have experience with a MacBook Pro Touch Bar which doesn't boot anymore? Oh man. Yeah, you did. I have a MacBook Pro 2019 sitting down here. I mean, knock on wood. It still boots fine, or I haven't seen that problem, so sorry, can't relate, beyond the first, when you get into those troubles, right? Like the first 3 Google posts is resetting your NV RAM, resetting your SMC, and beyond that, I wouldn't know. So if you find out, please let me know. I mean, it'd be fun to just hear it on the chat or on a comment on a YouTube video, because that's a scary thought, having to deal with those issues. So yeah, hope it gets resolved, and just if you find out a quick solution for it, by all means post it. I'd be interested to find out. All right, keep me posted, Nickel, and good luck, man. Hey Plasma, how are you? I'm doing well. Another beautiful day. I hope at least some of you got a chance to. I might kill the music for a little bit. I'm gonna put my AirPods away because you might be picking up a little bit of an echo. But I hope at least some of you, if not all of you, got a chance to see the launch earlier today, which was beyond US astronauts. And I'll put the music back on shortly. US rockets, US astronauts. If that's what got you hooked, then good for you. The science and the engineering and everything behind it all, that's what, for the most part, excites me. And yeah, I was super, super happy with the results. And yeah, I have a bunch of friends. I live in Pasadena, so I have a bunch of friends that work in aerospace. So, it's good to see the industry making, leaps and bounds, as they say, the progress. And I like space in general, but, it also affects me at a personal level. So it's always a happy day when things go well. Yeah, no, the OLED screen should be a lot of fun. And yeah, that seems. I saw a video. I don't know if any of you have seen it. There's this great YouTuber, and the name of the channel is Useless Dog Company. I'll pull it up on screen so you can see it. And he did a really simple talking banana. So I'm gonna pull it up for those of you who haven't seen it. And he did it, and that's where I got the idea. It's one of my favorite videos, and finally this week I had a chance to give it a try, see how it went. So he had a banana hooked up to a stream, and I'm not gonna necessarily play it right now, but just to show you what I'm talking about. It's this wonderful gentleman who does like great, really awesome creations. So the banana you see in the back, he had it do text to speech. So whenever someone would post a message in his Twitch chat, the banana would just, with a servo, go kind of like this, and then you would hear it in the background. So anyway, I found it extremely fun. I saw it, recently. It's like, oh man, that's a cool idea. Just interact with people on stream. And I opened a Twitch account. I was never on Twitch. I thought it was only for gaming. Apparently, there's a little bit of programming going on there. But just that, giving you, watching this stream, the ability to control hardware while we chat about, your questions and while I work on other projects, but just have that on the background. People, getting distracted with electronics, which is what I do on my channel. I thought it was a great idea. So, just bouncing from that, and our love for LEDs. We love it because it's simple. We love it because you can make really simple but kind of aesthetically pleasing, like beautiful things. So anyway, I just saw how hard of an interface would be to get a message from chat. And it's, if you look at my last video, there's all the code, all the details how to do it there. But the Twitch interface for chat is a lot easier to work with than YouTube. So that's what I was telling Sumit, I believe, before, that next step is to make it for YouTube. Just the authorization process a little bit more involved for YouTube. For Twitch, you just generate a token, put that as part of your messages that you're sending to the API, and it works flawlessly. So right now, I have my regular setup for this stream for YouTube, right? Which is I think what I would call my main audience. And I opened a Twitch account a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't even get my regular username, which is acrobatic with a C. I did acrobatic with a K. So what I'm doing, I have my regular setup for this YouTube stream, and then I have my phone doing a Twitch stream, which is what you see right now, really blurry on my screen. So this is going on live. So if any of you are interested, then you can just go. And obviously my internet connection is, not super happy, but it's not doing terribly either. And then you'll see the page that I have on my browser. And we've been tinkering with this for a few days now, and a few people from the YouTube crew have jumped on there and drawn different things. But right now, so I have those two strips connected, and there's just a little formatting that we need to follow. So if I put an exclamation point, and you know, and that's just arbitrary. Like, you don't have to do it like this. If you want to make your own bot to control hardware over Twitch chat, you can format that message however you want. I chose to put an exclamation point to begin with, and then a JSON formatted string, and it's weird JSON. I mean, it is a JSON formatted string, but then, you know, the key has to be LED for that particular device. And then the values are the position of the LED. So say I want to turn on the second to last one, like the one that's below this magenta one. So that'll be 16 total. And then we got to subtract 1, so 0 to 15. So it'll be number 14. And then say we want to turn that red. So it's 255 for red, 0 for green, 0 for blue. Close the double quotes. And then we just send that message on chat. Then it takes a little while. But if my demo doesn't mess up, that LED should come on shortly. Come on. Oh, there it goes. It needs to refresh on the streams because of the delay. So I've been having fun with that, and I started with LEDs. Maybe a little later, I'll tinker around with other devices, like maybe even, I wouldn't do a banana, I don't want to be a copycat, but it'd be fun to do text to speech. Although if you watch that video from the useless.company, it's pretty interesting. I won't spoil it, but let's just say it's not, you need to consider a lot of things if you're doing text to speech on the internet in 2020. Oh, Nico, I'm sorry to hear. You know, it's 2019, so it's under warranty, and that hopefully, you know, whatever is going on, it's covered under warranty. Yeah. Let me know. Like, I don't think once you give it to the shop, like if you go through just the Apple people, I don't know how many details they're able to disclose as to what was going on. But as I said before, I'd be interested in finding out as much as possible as to what happened. Hey Pete, you saw the video for which, you're talking about this one or the one that I was messing around with the computer vision stuff? I think you're talking about the computer vision stuff. Yeah. Either one, I'm always happy when, you know, for those of you who see me just banging my head against the wall, and then, you know, see me doing that for a couple of hours, and then I take a couple more hours at least to do everything, even though I'm not streaming it. And then, yeah, after all of that, then a 10-minute video or thereabouts comes out. Then, yeah, I'm glad, like, you get to see all the process and then the end result of things, for the most part, working. So, yeah, the boxing one, yeah, that's what I figured. that was fun. I started my knee, you know, I grew up playing soccer, football, and my knees, you know, after years and years of beating them to a pulp, are not what they used to be. So I started doing amateur boxing just to try to keep in shape and do something that is physically demanding. And yeah, it's it's like how, and same goes for soccer. Like, I want to build a little, at least a ball, you know, sorry for the bump on the mic, but I want to build a little ball with LEDs and try to do, like, you know, keepy ups or whatever you call them, and then based on the acceleration of the ball, have the LEDs display different patterns. And, you know, it wouldn't be a regular ball, it would be like a wire frame of a ball, and maybe I can 3D print that, but that would take me a while. So yeah, it's on my oh, I really want to do this project, but it would take me an insanely long amount of time. So I'm just waiting for the opportunity to do that. And that was the reason why I chose to, for boxing was a little bit easier. So yeah, fun stuff. So say I didn't saw your question, how to build a workshop. I mean, you're talking to someone who works out of his garage, so I not the best resource, but I know Make Magazine, right, has a few guides on how to start a makerspace, which you can see what tools do they recommend and what kind of spaces they consider. So Make Magazine, if you look for start your own makerspace or something of the sort, they have a wonderful set of resources. Yeah, they're a little bit dated, but they should be super useful. That's my best answer. I think I'm all caught up. Anybody working on any projects? Or I know it's Saturday evening, but the at least in where I live, Pasadena, the restrictions are dying down for going out and stuff, but it's not like people are clubbing or doing all sorts of fun stuff just yet. So it's always a good time to put in ourselves into our hobbies. So I love to hear if you're working on something. Sumit, if working on ESP32, ESP8266 is worth it in terms of an industrial point of view. This is my work. I do hobby electronics for a living, selling them and doing the tutorials that you see on the channel. So this is my day job. So say for me it's worth it, right? This is what pays the bills. So yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like if you want to go work for a company, is it worth it? It's a great way to learn a lot of concepts that you can apply with whatever, firmware development and programming, thinking of, interfacing with APIs. All of those concepts transfer over to industry. So the concepts themselves transfer over. What doesn't transfer over is the hardware itself. Honestly, there are very few devices that I've seen on the market being produced that that you can go and buy that use this type of microcontrollers, right? They're usually, there are a few Android tablets that have an ESP8266 embedded in it, and you can get those tablets, at places like Walmart, which is a big department store out here in the US, and it's international now. But anyway, those devices are hard to find, and in production, right, at a industrial level. But that doesn't mean that the concepts you learn using them won't transfer over, and they're much easier to work with because there's a big community of people who share their notes, their experiences, their code. And if you try to find, like, if you want to work in aerospace and you want to see the chip, say if you saw the launch today, like those nice touch panels that they had in the cabin, if you try to find the chips to work there, right, all the nodes are going to be proprietary, and you're not, you're going to be left on your own. Whereas if you work with a touch interface, say the touch screen of a Raspberry Pi, it's easy to get started. And again, you get some of those concepts, and then you can pour them over. So that's my best answer. And then Nickel, you're telling me that you design a PCB with an ESP32 on it. Nice. So what's that one? I haven't used that chip. I mean, you're telling me that it's for sending RF commands, and the typical ENA260 for reading current. So counter current pump in a pool, and then you're using the RF chip to interface with what? But yeah, I'm curious to see what's. Oh, okay, yeah, it's just one of those little, what is it, 430? Oh no, 915 megahertz. Nice. So then, yes. So what does that chip give you? Does that interface with something with the pool? Or, yeah, I'm just curious why you use an ESP32 and the RF chip to send data. Let's see, it is connected via MQTT to push out the typical 420 reading, 4 to 20 milliamp reading, and to receive a workout. Nice. Hi, DIY in the ghetto. How are you? And yeah, no, last stream I didn't get a chance. I was going over all the messages, and I know I asked you, hey, are you back to Georgia? And you said, no, still in Jersey and stuff. But then, I think I got distracted with other things. Wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by the stream. And I've asked before, so I'm testing out a few different filters with the audio, and I need to mess with the delay between the video and the audio because they're going through different sources. If I'm out of sync between what I say and what you hear, let me know and I'll play with that delay. Yeah, right now I have it at 15 milliseconds. Hopefully that's roughly okay. But if the audio looks super out of sync, and I'll go over the video later and adjust it. But for now, so I'm not bugging you by going like this, and then you're hearing the sound later, or vice versa, hearing the sound first, and then my mouth went like that. Let me know, and I'll tweak with it live. As I always tell people, I'm pretty new to the streaming. I don't think I can keep claiming that much longer because I think it's been 3 weeks now. So, but anyway, it's this kind of stuff is always a learning process, and I always try to improve it, make the audio quality better, the video quality as best as my budget allows. So yeah, let me know if any of you have any feedback about the stream. And I had some music playing, and I'll bring it back in a second. And yeah. So I see you're replacing, that's what I figure. Oh, you're using 433. Yeah, usually you get those two bands, and it depends on your region. When you mess around with those chips, it's 915 or 433, the ones that are typically allowed by your communications commission. All right, wagon loads. Thank you for the feedback. It's driving me crazy because I just don't want to go and watch the video of the stream later and be like, because people are way too kind. Like, anyway, I don't think I would complain. Like, if I'm seeing somebody else stream and they're doing their best, I'm not gonna say, hey, you're out of sync, right? So I'm also one of those people. But right now I'm the streamer. And it's like, oh, come on, man. I wouldn't take offense if somebody's honest and say, hey, you're clipping, or, because anyway, as hopefully I continue to do this and some of you get to know me a little better, you'll know that it's, I don't take it personally. I know sometimes people can be jerks online, but I've been lucky enough that the community we're building in this channel seem pretty chill, as they say. So anyway, and let's see. So you made a mistake in the design. Don't we all, man? I've never designed anything without a mistake, even after 2 or 3 iterations. And after 3 iterations, there might be a small mistake, like, I don't know, a label that got cut off by a hole or something. If it's a PCB we're talking about. And I'm like, okay, screw it. Need to move on. But yeah, reading data sheets, it is an art form, and they've gotten so much better. Back in the day, when PDFs weren't even searchable, and I'm not talking about, I'm not necessarily that old, but I'm talking about 10 years ago. Like, PDFs weren't searchable, or not all PDFs, depending on how you format them. Most people would just export a Word document to PDF, and I think that's actually how some of them still do it, and that process used to be horrible. So anyway, it's gotten so much better, but it's still a bit of an art. I get what you're saying. So you need to add an additional wire, and so we're in the DIY. We put the Y to the DIY business. I guess we can use that as our motto. And so from the RF transmitter to the ESP to send the OK. It's all good. Glad to hear. Thanks for the feedback, Nico. And then you have one set up monitoring your solar panels. Nice. Same setup for you DIY in the ghetto. Do you have that combination of an ESP32 on one of those RF chips? And guess the current loop sensor as well, right? So the Y to a DIY business. Yeah. And now I see. So you've printed the data sheets. Yeah. I'll never get used to the digital reading that a lot of people do these days, and I'm not an avid reader. Like, I don't have tons of books, but whenever I'm reading something as silly as it is, yeah, I need to have it in my hand, almost like use my finger to like guide my reading. Yeah. I'm old school in that regard. I have an iPad, and my wife has a Kindle, but yeah, do the little reading that I do for whatever, like data sheets, or whenever I'm reviewing my PCB's designs, like I'll print it out and just like I want to place my hand on something. So yeah. So you have an Arduino with a current shunt. Okay. Oh, that's before you got into ESP. So how are you sending the data to whatever you're doing the monitoring on the Arduino? Are you logging it there and maybe on an SD card? Or are you using one of those RF chips to send it somewhere else? Or meaning, so I'm assuming it's an Arduino Uno, like the ones without Wi-Fi. You maybe using one that has one of the newer Arduino boards that have Wi-Fi on them. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I read, 500 is a typical number for milliamps. So I read it the first time. I was like, man, that's tiny, tiny solar panel. But then I realized there was no M in front of it. So, and let's see, Pete, you got an ESP3266 in your bathroom with IR sensors on the door frame to turn lights on and off. Nice. And at different levels depending on the time. Nice. Is it custom software, or are you running one of those sort of pre-packaged ones with a nice user interface that you can just tweak depending on your desire? Just the reason I asked is because a lot of people were doing projects with a Philips Hue, so maybe you were able to find something or sort of pre-made and tweaked it, or did you just write the whole thing yourself? Oh, nice. So if you're also doing extractor fan, take it you're turning on and off some relays, so that's that's always interesting. On the videos and on the stream, I try not to mess too much with mains voltage, but I'm always tempted to do something along the lines with all sorts of disclaimers, like make sure you consult an electrician, etc., etc. But those are lots of fun to work with, some high voltage devices. And then 300 amps worth of batteries. Nice. 300 amps. That is a lot of amperage. So solar panels going into those batteries, like is that what you mean, DIY in the ghetto, that you're using solar panels to charge 300 amps worth of batteries? It's a lot of batteries. And then you, Sumit, you're working on a project for uploading an image from the SD card to an image recognition API to get back a response in that image. But there's no much resource on how to upload an image to an API. Yeah, I mean, if the image is, you're right that there isn't that many resources. I'm trying to think how I would send it. And I know like posting binary data, it's always tricky with my little experience with the ESP8266 and the ESP32. As in addition to all the wonderful stuff that you're doing, you or anybody else, have you tried TensorFlow Lite? Just running locally, the image recognition stuff. That's one of the projects I want to do again. I have a really long list of stuff that I want to do, and just playing around with TensorFlow Lite and doing some image classification on the ESP32. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So just curious if you had a chance to play with it. And then so when you leave Pete, you got Alexa also in the loop. Nice. Like, did you wash your hands? It's an important message in the current climate. And then exploring the Wemos D1, the Raspberry Pi links. Trying to get Fitbit data involved. Nice. You got all the fun APIs and devices working together. I want to get into, again, long list. The other stuff, just exploring the home automation space a little bit more. I haven't had a chance, again, trying to make simpler projects less involved, but now I'm getting a little more time between videos and not see my views go, take a nosedive. So it gives me the ability to, instead of having to spend 2-3 days on a project and have to publish them to just keep YouTube happy, I can take a little bit more time to work on a more involved type of project. So home automation, it's also up there for me. So I'm glad you get the chance to tinker with part of it, and again the integration with the home assistants, which is awesome. I'm in a positive light. I'm a little bit jealous. And then for you, Wagon Loads, lots of electronic project magazines. and one of them had a project to add speech to a computer using a speak and spell. And you got one, but you never did it. Doing things with Arduino, yeah, it is quite easier. But you hope you still have it around. It's always interesting to just break out of the usual. But again, I'm sure, like myself, lots of folks have like never-ending list of projects they would like to tack on, and they usually involve the technologies we're accustomed to. So yeah, but when we get a chance, when we get bored, it's nice to just see what's out there. And then yeah, that's what the venerable 18650s, and they're taking over from your Teslas to your home batteries. So yeah, those are fun little guys. And so for you, DIY in the ghetto, did you buy them pre-made, like the entire packs, or did you do the soldering between each cell by yourself? I'm always curious, and most I've used them for is the little robot video that I made, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos ago. And I see people who want to build, say, for the scooters and stuff like that use like just the bigger packs. They just solder them themselves, and I'm wondering how reliable that is, because I want to build some of those projects as well. And then for your project, Nicole, upload of an image as well, an XML file to a server, hand rolling a post request. Yeah, that's another option. And again, even if you just do it as binary data, I know there's limits on the packet sizes, and you end up having to just iteratively send things up to the server, and that's not a pretty process. But honestly, I have vague recollections of reading a little bit about it. If you look at my last however many projects, I haven't messed around with that too much, with uploading stuff to a server, like actual files. Usually the files that I upload and I do stuff with end up in the server running on the ESP32. So something for me to keep in mind, to again remind myself or teach myself how to do it, and perhaps post a video on it. So hopefully some of you can find that useful. And then TensorFlow Lite. Yeah, I think my friend BitLooney on his channel, I think he was using with a ESP32 cam some TensorFlow Lite stuff. I know he has a couple of great videos for ESP32 cam, the camera. I can't remember if it was on his channel that I was seeing a little bit of a TensorFlow Lite. I think it was. And then let's see. that's a lot of power over there in your house, Mr. DIY in the ghetto. Which is awesome. I'm not hating. And then U1 you're looking for an H-bridge that can handle a bunch of power for an electric wheelchair. I mean, you can look at the specs for H-bridges, and I know some of those transistors can, run a lot of current through them, but just that stuff gets hot. And I know, and they get pricey, right? Like, but I'm all for, hey, we were chatting before how we put Y in DIY, as cheesy as that sounds. So I'm all for you doing it yourself, but there's some pretty decent pre-packaged, electronic speed controller options out there that have figured out all the, heat dissipation and power distribution, the gauging of the cables that you need, and all that good stuff. So, you know, if you want to worry about the actual programming of the robot and not so much about the mechanics and the electromechanics of it, might not be a bad investment of both time and money to just go with a prepackaged ESC electronic speed controller. But just a suggestion. I'm the one who goes on Twitter and says, every time make fun of my friend Brian Locke, again, another YouTuber, because, we have this running inside joke. It's not that much of an inside joke, but, it seems that every comment he gets something along the lines of, you should have used a 555 instead of a microcontroller. So I don't want to be that type of person, so I'm not telling you what to do. Just like, hey, if you want to save a little bit of time and, you can whether spend the resources, both money and interest, like if you're interested in something else, that might not be a bad bypass for some of it. And then, yeah, I keep chuckling at DIY in the ghettos, crazy setups with a bunch of solar panels and several hundred amps running through panels and batteries. It's like, and then I just see the comment, it's like, all my batteries are used. So just gave me a great chuckle, because that's a way to do it. And then, yeah, that's kind of interesting, Nickel. I'll ping you if I get stuck making some of that stuff. I want to, again, I'm just going down the list. We're just chatting. You guys and gals are doing actual projects. For me, I'm just thinking about them. I'm just trying to tackle one at a time, or I can only tackle one at a time between doing multiple things. So you're telling me what you're actually working on, and I'm telling you like my ideas. And it is what it is. But one of my ideas is another thing on my list that I want to do, start to mess around with AWS, just sending files and things. A lot of people ask me about interfaces with Azure, Microsoft Azure, or AWS. And with that in mind, just sending data to a database and then files to a server are the two typical things for just getting started. So say if someone wants to collect local data and then they want to see it somewhere else, then doing a post request of those data to a server that's running on AWS or Google Cloud, what have you, that's the easiest way of getting data without poking holes at your router. And anyway, it's not the only way, but it's a good way. And with that in mind, then yeah, images, it's another one making, again, I was talking before about the ESP32 cam. So taking local images, uploading them. So it's something really high up on my really long to-do list. So if I get stuck, I will ping you. And then, yeah, so it's up to you, Summit, if there aren't enough resources for using TensorFlow Lite, you're the person to take it upon yourself to generate some of those resources, right? Be the change you want to see. I'm kidding, right? But it'd be nice by the time I get to do something with it to see a few folks messing around with it. Man, it's crazy. Like, not you're just messing with me, DIY in the ghetto. Again, I'm a few messages delayed, but now it's like I'm reading your comment about 7,000 cells. That's a lot. Which is awesome. Again, I'm not hating. And let's see. You're back in Jersey. Nice. And you gotta leave to Georgia next week. Do what you gotta do. So you have some unfinished business. Yeah, because of all the stuff that's going on. I see. So probably heading back to Georgia, finishing up your business, heading back to Jersey, I would imagine. And then yeah, the Tesla battery, it's another one that's just a whole bunch of 18650 cells. As Wagon Load says, it's a fun bunch of videos. And so you're saying the one that they're using the Tesla battery in that catamaran? Haven't seen that one, but I've seen a few different applications for those Tesla batteries, and yeah, they're always fun. All right, Sumith, I don't know if I missed you, but if you watch this later, hope you have a good day as well. Thanks for stopping by the stream. And yeah, I don't. It's almost like a tweet. It's 200 characters per message, but I think if they have an email on their YouTube account, you can probably just send it over or send them a message. I don't know if YouTube still allows to send direct messages. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. The upcycling, particularly of 18650 cells, upcycle them, like get them for cheap and reuse them. They're always fun. They can power, rechargeable. They can power a whole lot of projects. So yeah. And then that reminds me, you guys and gals and your Discords. Wasn't a Discord user until I started streaming. So I'll plug mine in for people who haven't joined. It's just getting started, but if you need to reach me and I don't jump on stream and you have questions or want to share your projects, by all means, post on there. Like I said, I'm always curious to see what people are up to. So don't be shy. Invite people. Edit invite link to not expire. And there we go. So I know how that goes. One DIY in the ghetto. I hope you and the missus have a good night. Get a little bit of rest. So and thank you as always for stopping by and saying hello. So keep us posted what you end up doing with all those batteries, man. Fun stuff. And then you got anybody's bored, you can go hop on over to Twitch and turn on and off some LEDs. All right, sounds good. Send me a message. You got the email, and I'm always happy to just see what source of fun stuff pop into your head. So by all means. Cool. Well, welcome aboard, Nickel N. gonna try to do a little bit of work on this LED matrix. I had it pretty properly set up as you can see. Let me switch screens. And this one, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, this setup wasn't super robust for turning on and off the matrix. It was just the cables poking into the Wemos 2x1 baseboard. So now I gotta do a little bit of soldering for this prototyping shield, and that way I can put just a screw terminal on it and have those cables be a little more secure. So I just want to start setting up some hardware that we can control over chat. Is a fun interactive way. Right now this one is hooked up to Twitch, but I plan on figuring out the authorization for YouTube. I think I have it figured out, just not on this machine. I was messing with it last night. I'm upstairs, so I'll finish setting up the stuff that's controlled over Twitch, and then yeah, once that's done, I'll work on a video for controlling hardware via YouTube chat. So next time I'm on stream, then I don't have to do the whole like, oh, jump here, jump there for doing some hardware control. And it'll be LEDs, but I'm hoping to do more fun stuff. Maybe a robot one day, just a simple little like mobile robot that if you type L or left, it turns left, hopefully, etc., etc. So fun stuff. I want to make that's gonna be my goal for the next, let's call it, month, making just hardware that you control from where you are. So wagon loads, you've seen some 50 amp H bridges. The thing with H bridges are that they're sort of straightforward in terms of the hardware. So I would think they're compatible. One thing where they wouldn't be compatible is if they need more current than what the pins of the ESP32 can provide, or ESP8266. But if they're made for microcontrollers, the compatibility wouldn't be an issue. So if you send me a link, I don't know, I think YouTube chat might block it, but if you send it on Discord or tweet or email, whichever you prefer, I'll pull it up and we can at least chat about it. How do you turn all the lights off? It's still a work in progress. So right now it's you gotta do it one by one. Let me switch screens to main, workbench, and webcam. So you gotta do it one by one, and it's here. I'll post the actual comment on YouTube, and you can copy and paste it over to Twitch. So this would be to turn off the last LED on top. So you need the exclamation mark at the beginning. And again, all of that code is running on that ESP32, and there is a link. This is one that I'm making for the 8x8 matrix, the one that I'm showing on screen. But there you go. So Perplex 2, and I don't know why it's taking so freaking long. That should turn off the fourth one from the bottom. Didn't quite turn off. Did I type in something wrong? Let me see. Pull up the Arduino and you can see it live. And if I do the serial monitor, you can see, something is funky. Oh, you know what? It's the double quotes. Probably when I type them on the Twitch, on this. Now I'm getting all sorts of confused. Just replace the double quotes because that's valid JSON. It shouldn't complain. But when I type them on the stream chat, the interface just change them so that they look all curly or whatever. They should be the straight double quotes. So say if I yeah, and wagon loads, yeah, send me the model number and I'll pull it up. If I go on Twitch, which I'll do now, and I'll paste the same message. It has a curly quotes as well. Yep. Double quotes with your double quotes, because they should look straight and not curly. It might actually I think I copied them from YouTube, but you see, I'm just replacing them. I think you might be able to even use the single quotes. Yeah, the copy pasting, either that or it switches them to the ones that are curly instead of like the straight quotes, which are two separate ASCII characters. They should turn off the bottom one. And yeah, you see that this one didn't get the invalid input on the my debug messages on the Arduino IDE. And then you can see that it actually turned off the one in the bottom. So yeah, sorry, it's a silly double quotes. There you go. So 700 worked, and that'll be the 8th LED, right? So I think that one was already off. And I think that's you, the DIY in the ghetto, right? Joseph, I think. I know you go by J, so I'm wondering if that's short for Joseph. And then Perplex as well. So yeah, Perplex, your double quotes are still messed up. I think both of you. Let me see if I paste that again. Nah. Yeah, no, I totally get you. No. Saying, you know, I go by Cisco, and that's just short for Francisco, and I got nicknamed that when I came to the US, and now it's like people call me think it's better to go by Cisco. So I'm on a similar boat. Let's see. But yeah, no, if you delete them yourself, let me see. I think if I force the character here, hang on. All right. No, I think. Let's see if I copy it over. Yep. All right, you got it, Jay. So you put 10, the 11th pixel. Yeah, this one is you. Let me switch cameras so you can see it in its full glory. So this guy, the one you just activated. Then again, trying to keep it visible on the Twitch stream as well. So, you know, to toy, I wouldn't call it a toy example because it was a little more involved than just a toy example, but using LEDs was just the easiest thing I could do. And it's funny, like quite a few, a few people now, quite a few people have actually spent a couple of days just hanging out, and when one person changes something, the other one will change it back, and it's been awesome. It's been really interesting. So fun stuff. So I wanted to share it with the community on the YouTube channel, since I've been, trying to tinker around on the Twitch side of things. So happy that some of you get to experience it. And then for PHP, if you put quotes inside strings, it kills the page. But if you put single quotes, yeah, or curly quotes inside strings, it works. Yeah, and that's what I usually do. Just on Perplex, yeah, your quotes are still messed up, and you can see it here. If I go back to the previous screen, you know, if you see this message here, like deserialized, this is gonna say deserialized JSON failed, and yeah, until this thing says valid input, say when J sends this one, so this is his message, how it looks like. Let me get rid of the auto scroll. So that's, I think, getting closer. I don't know if it changed. So in this one, there is 16 LEDs from bottom to top. Bottom one is 0. So yeah, Perplex, somehow you got it. Those do not look like the correct quotes. If you see the message here from Jay, right, the double quotes, I can zoom in. Come on. I wasn't doing it. I want to zoom in. What's the MacBook thing for zooming in the entire screen? I thought it was holding down Command Shift. Yeah. All right. Sorry. But all right. So Joseph J, my bad, has the, you know, the quotes look straight, and then there's no deserialized JSON failed. But then I was lying before, my bad. So for you, Perplex 2 on Twitch, that's still like the quote is curly. Needs to be straight, so just delete them and add them on Twitch directly. Don't add them on YouTube because YouTube messes them up. Yeah. And I don't know how you manage wagon loads to get straight double quotes on YouTube, but yeah. That's those are the ones. If I type them on the YouTube chat directly, the quotes immediately get marked as curly. I'm sure, you know, if I were to use the out code for straight double quotes, then they would look as yours. But maybe you have another secret on how to type them in. And yeah, I wonder with the single quotes, it might actually work. So let's see. Or do they get changed? Unfortunately, the single quotes. Let's see. Hang on. I will report back. Gotta go to Twitch. Sorry. All right. On 0. Oh, that might have been already off. Let's turn it. Let's turn 0 to blue on my end. So yeah, if you try single quotes, it might be easier. Like if you want to type them or copy my last message on the chat, on the YouTube chat. No, once I hit enter, they get messed up. So anyway, just type out the entire message or just delete the quotes once you go to Twitch. Let's see. Yep, that is no bueno. But formatting issues aside, it's a fun little interface. And again, you know, the code is on the GitHub repo. Yeah, sorry about that, Nico, but how about if you go to Twitch and say copy the last message from Acrobatic. That's right now the one that has a 0 to 55 to 55 to LED 0. Like if you copy that one and just change the numbers, you might be able to do something with it, hopefully. Everybody should get a chance to turn on and off an LED. Right. But by all means, and if you have any questions, DIY in the Ghetto, let me know. It's a lot of fun, and I can already see trying to make a little rover moving around my desk and letting some of you I can filter by username. So some of you of the less destructive folks controlling now. I'll let anyone, whatever. If it breaks, it breaks. But yeah, Nico, if you wanna just copy it over on Twitch, should work. Yeah, it did change them. If you, I take it that you copied, pasted it from my message, and I've seen even your previous one, the one up here. It's a different set of quotes, so kind of annoying. But the reason I'm using, because most bots, like I'm not a Twitch user, so I don't know, I gotta take people's word for it, but they tell me that most bots, you don't have to use like silly JSON formatting. And the reason I'm using JSON formatting is to precisely do a little bit without many, without writing it myself, doing some, string sanitization. I don't know how you say that, but just sanitizing the strings and making sure that there's some error checking and it is correctly formatted. So the simplest way I could think of is I'm gonna just let the JSON library deal with it. So I just check that string, and that string is easy to get, right? Like the reason I have an exclamation point is because that allows me to do a search for a column. For the column comes built in by the formatting of the message. So I do this search, and this is pretty unique, particularly if I'm only I'm searching left to right. That'll be the first occurrence, the beginning of a message. So after that, I just get a substring, and that substring right now I'm returning, actually I did a help message that you can see if you type in help. And again, I'm going to abstract this out because it doesn't make sense to have it in this firmware, but it's a work in progress. And yeah, then I run that sort of substring through the JSON library, and that does a little. It doesn't check for things that could, potentially break the code and do like overflows or whatnot, but it just checks that it's a, valid format, and that's just a lazy way, the one-line lazy way to do it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I forgot about that. Just the press and hold, and then it's just a different one than the default quotation mark on an iPhone. All right, Jay, take it easy. Just blame it on me. Tell the wife that it's like, yeah, no, it's this streamer is bugging me with questions. But yeah, chat to you later. So it's fun stuff here with the Twitch control stuff, and again, this is just the beginning. And honestly, yeah, the very next thing, and I won't let anything distract me from that goal, is to do it from the YouTube directly. So, from YouTube chat. But yeah, at least for tonight, I want to try to get the Proto Shield going and hook up a matrix. So that's the plan. And now that I have two different streams going on, it's even, I'm not complaining, but it's just funny. I'm gonna have to like contour myself around the area, which is my soldering space and my stream space now for two streams. So interesting stuff. Gonna need a bigger bench one of these days. Gonna grab, shouldn't be too much soldering, so anyway, be done quickly enough to get back to having fun. And I was, as you saw on the, you know, by the looks of the Arduino IDE, I was working on that little 8x8 matrix, and that's why I'm soldering this, because I'm at the point that I would bump it, or I would try to like make it nicer looking for the stream, and then it kept getting disconnected. So that was a little bit too annoying. And then I'll do it here. It's my little breadboard that I use for soldering, and I'll switch to just let me know if you, for whatever reason, want a different screen. But I will do this one for now. A little bit of soldering. And then hook up the matrix. And obviously, you know, this one is ready to go. You can still play, you know, quote unquote, play around with it as much as you want. I'm sorry if I'm blocking your view. Try not to be in the way too much. Fix the one on Twitch. And I guess you'll get a nice close-up view on Twitch. But you can have both windows side by side. Hey, Hamed, thank you. Fun stuff. Aaron is a little bit hot. Sorry to block the views. Yeah. That's on me. Nice. And for now, it'll only take, I think, the first or the last message, and that's not by design. It's just the um, inability of the software. So I think that's huge. Yeah. Let me type it. Yeah. So it's like feature to be implemented. Feature coming. You need to enter them one at a time. No worries. And then, yeah, this is for folks wondering what the heck I'm typing. Again, I'm going between two streams, and I switch over to Twitch, which is linked somewhere on the chat if you scroll up. But anyway, I'll be switching back and forth, and the stuff that it's on the desk, for those of you just stopping by, it's being controlled from Twitch chat. So fun stuff. Then I'm trying to get more stuff going for controlling. All right. So this is just a proto board that I don't know why I'm messing up. Got an ugly blub right there on the top. I don't know if that's easy to see, but anyway, not happy. I need a little bit of flux or something. That's the TX pin, so I'm not gonna be using that, but still. Yeah. Good enough. Now, where is my terminal? There we go. Block terminal. Let's see. So Nickel, I'm using a, what is it? I mean, it's the standard Weller one. This point, I can't remember the model number. I think it's just the WSD51, just the digital one. So let's see if you're. I think you're on Twitch, so it's it's on. Yeah. So I don't move this camera that it's on the actual YouTube stream right now. You go on Twitch, I think you'll get a clearer view, and I can always just switch screens, make your life a little bit easier. And there we go. I think that updated it. But yeah, no, it's just a weather. D51, I think West D51, the model. It's a nice grid, and yeah, I love it. They make Weather makes really good products. So big fan. But yeah, the grid is super ergonomic. That's one of the reasons I find it more attractive. I know the Hackle ones are also pretty good. I haven't tried one, but yeah, I would not mind giving them a try. They're just a little bit on the pricey side for now. And then, oh yes, some of you know the trick for this one, right? It's a 3.5 millimeter pitch. So for the block terminal, and it's 2.54 millimeters, right? Like 10th of an inch on the on the actual proto board. So if you put the block terminal diagonally, it fits. So it's a nice little hack. And you might wonder, why don't I get to 0.1 inch pitch terminal blocks? And yeah, that's a little bit too close together for comfort to have two cables, even though it's not high current. But particularly we use a lot of stranded wire, and there's always one strand that doesn't go in, so just that extra bit of separation, which you might not think is much, what is it, not even a full millimeter close to it, but it does make a difference in my opinion. And yeah, you're welcome to try it out. So I want to go to 5 volts. And then I have to solder a couple of cables, but that shouldn't be bad. And that's all the soldering I'm doing, so should be back to programming shortly. So this 3 pins and 2 cables should be good. And yeah. All right. Pins down. And just this guy. Gonna stretch to grab my wire stripper. So I don't have long enough nails for this. Grab my pliers. There we go. Check it up a bit. Alright. One wire wrap going in. Put a little bit of solder in there. tweezers. You know, the fun stuff that you get to see in 5 seconds, if not less, in the videos. But it takes a while. Obviously, trying to do it for a stream is a lot different, right? I don't want to, I know I'm blocking the view and stuff like that. I'm trying not to have you look at it a little bit, but see. Not sure if, there we go. Not sure if people are watching on Twitch, but I had it muted, so just unmuted it. It'll be the audio from, and I gotta, yeah, that should be fine. It's just the audio from the iPhone, which is not terrible, but not great, as opposed to the one on YouTube, which all, well, filtered to some extent to the best of capacities. Let me see. All right, I'll probably get a hold of you on Discord. Sorry if I miss you, Nickel. Good luck. Again, keep us posted with the progress on the Mac repair. Yeah, best of lucks. And then you found a 43A Wagaloads. Let me see. Ooh. So, let me see. How do a search for, can I just put the item number here? Yep. Let me see. Make it bigger. But yeah, I think this is what I thought. For some reason, you wanted to deal with some of the intricacies yourself, Wagaloads. And that's what I was talking about. You know, they worry when they do this PCB design, which again, this might not be state of the art, but they worry about the heat dissipation, having just a big old heat sink. And this is the, you know, sort of standard H bridge chip. And I've seen a lot of folks buy these chips, the breadboardable version or a little breakout board, and try to like fiddle with stuff. And it just gets a little hairy. But this should be fine. If you're for, your biggest worry is going to be burning them out, and not because of current, which you have to check, because you have your average current and you have, you know, once you flip the switch on, you have your spikes, and that might blow them up. But these guys will get insanely hot and they might fail because of how hot they get. So when you see, hey, why is this ESC on Amazon $60 or whatever, they get kind of pricey. And a lot of it is doing the thermal control and making sure they don't fail, just from a few uses. But let me see, this is 10 bucks, and it's not necessarily terribly cheap, but not terribly expensive as some of the ESCs that I've seen people use. Again, one popular project is doing the longboards for, the skateboard that you can just control, and long form factor skateboard. Some of them are short form factor, but that you can control with a little handheld remote. I've seen a lot of people use ESCs for that. And yeah, so you can try this, and just 60 amps is a lot of current. I'm not super confident that this will hold out, but it will work with ESP and Arduino. So yeah, you put your voltage sources, whether it's 3.3 or ground. I'll double check the spec on the H-bridge chip themselves, but I bet that VCC can be 3v3 or 5, or even if you put the 5 from the ESP on there, you can have the signals for PWM be 3.3. It's not, I mean, you can always use a logic shifter, a level shifter, but usually that works. See, this guy's. I guess, yeah. I mean, I can check, but it sounds that it's for a 5-volt microcontroller. So you have two choices. You can, let's see, two choices. The, as you know, the ESP3266 is operating voltage is 3v3. You can shift those signals up. The little one of those 74HC245 chips, level shifters, and or you can just try your luck. I do that a lot. I'm doing that with the LEDs. Those NeoPixel WS2812B LEDs are supposed to work off of 5 volts. I have 5 volts for power, but I'm using 3.3 volt signal for data, and that works just fine. If I just find, for this, if the colors are off, or if one of the cycles the color doesn't change, I can live with that. If I wanted to make sure that it works perfectly as high of a percentage of time as possible, then I would have to use a level shifter. That's the best practice and the recommended one. Just at the end of the day, I'm doing this for entertainment and fun, and if again the colors are slightly off or it misses a few cycles of the signal, then it doesn't affect me at all. So just something to keep in mind. It's a 5-volt device, and I was just gonna look up the data sheet, but I mean, it's already on the posting, so I just want to see if there's an application note. All right, so here are your recommended values. So it sounds that it will actually just work, even though it says a 5 volt. Maybe they're just posting the maximum. So I would just try it without and just power the low side with 3.3 volts so that the supply on the low side matches the voltage of the signals. And if that doesn't work, then shift everything up, put the 5 volts from your ESP3266 board to 5 volts, and then shift up the signals. So anyway, like I said, I'm always curious and want to find out more, but I think that's and again, my only caveat is in terms of how much heat can it handle, and seeing how much of a spike in current when you turn everything on, the motors on and stuff, how much will that generate. And have I made my own JSON web page title? I've used JSON on tons of web pages, but not sure what you mean by JSON web page title. It depends, right? And you know, I can't remember the project name, but ESC for whatever, electric skateboard, right? These are, even though it's something that is bound to support human weight, so has a wheelchair, so it has the same current demands. Even the one for a skateboard, you're supposed to go faster, so it might be even higher currents. But there are some 60 amp ones that I've seen that are pretty good. And I just want to get the name of the project, because there is like an open source one that it seems to be pretty popular. And again, on the wheelchair, it'll be brush motors. So something there. And so I can use open source ESC. So yeah, it's this VESC project. And the thing is that they're super pricey. So if you're just thinking around starting, you can start with the ones you suggested, but using an ESC, right? Like they do a whole lot more than just a simple H bridge. And at the end of the day, and when I say a whole lot more, right, like you need to read into a little bit into ESCs, but making sure that output is linear, like, depending on the actual PWM, the speed on the other side, the voltage to the motors, that relationship is as linear as possible. And with just a plain old H bridge, that control is not as finely tuned. So there's a little bit of smarts to an ESC compared to just a simpler H bridge chip. But again, it depends on your goal. If you want to make a robot, so you don't have to, I was forgetting about that. The motors themselves can pull a lot of current, but they're not going to be under too much load, unless you go crazy with batteries and stuff. But it's, compared to a person, it's going to be relatively smaller loads, so they're not going to be pulling as much current. So not a terrible choice, say not a great one either. But if you consider things like budget and end goals, I think it would be a solid first attempt, honestly. Hey Ganesh, how are you? Oh, the title was eBay page. You plan to control it through a web page? That's great. And you want to use JSON for what exactly? So I've used JSON in a web page, say for when I was doing. I just need to remind myself, not trying to toot my own horn by any means. I'm just gonna go to list my videos and just point out where have I used JSON lately. Definitely is there, but that's kind of silly. So say, I did this no contact infrared thermometer, and say for a project like that, I would use JSON for communicating the data between the web server running on the ESP32. And honestly, I don't have a clue if I ended up doing it there or not. But if I want to present those data to a user, through a user interface, then I would just send a web page, and the communication between the web page that ends up on your phone or your computer with the sensor taking those measurements. I want it to be real time, and I would use either Ajax to do that communication or a WebSocket. And the format of the data, I would do it as a JSON formatted string. So that's where JSON comes in. But anything else, you can use JavaScript to build the entire page, and that gets a little quirky, but it can be done. But where the JSON comes in is just the format of the data being transmitted. But yeah, when you're setting it up, if you want to, again, jump on the Discord or ping me email or a message on one of the YouTube videos, then by all means do it. I can be a second pair of eyes looking at the connections, and once you start running those motors, then giving feedback. Probably it'll be good call wagon loads. And now I want to see it operating on autonomous mode. Fun stuff. Let's see, trying to forget, keep getting distracted. Want to get people watching a little bit of music. Thing with music, there we go. Should have a little bit of music now. I'm just gonna get rid of my AirPods so that I don't get distracted with, if it's too loud, too low, let me know. I can tweak around with it. But my AirPods, they're not completely noise proof or whatever, so I hear an echo because there's a bit of a delay between the music actually playing and when I hear it. So I wanna not get too distracted. But yeah, wagon loads, email works fine. And again, I'm trying to promote the Discord just so that I have everything in a single place. But any form of communication is good, and this is just it's just barely getting started. Just the Discord, I'm just chatting with people about projects. That way, if others have similar questions, they can go on there, but little by little. Let me finish soldering this up. That way you can have a second device to mess around with. Yeah, so I'm gonna point this to both cameras. So people on Twitch can actually see it. Not messy out of the way. Yep, there we go. Now it's in both. I really need to not be lazy and get my third hand in here. I'd rather be lazy and suffer and take twice as long as I could. It's not half another thing on my desk. Alright, one down, one to go. I need to be a little longer. I need to go from there to B6. Yeah, this one do. Can always use a different pen, but I like with some B6. The same one I'm using on the other ESP32. Alright. I think that should be good. And yeah, if you, and I'll get to your messages in a second, but any feature requests for hardware that you want to see controlled, interfaces that you want to use to control. I heard Twitter, I heard YouTube chat. Let me know. And any feature requests for the ones that we're deploying right now, like the LEDs. Let me know. But I'll be there in a sec. I want to set up the matrix. So I too can have a device for controlling without using the one that some of you are controlling. Alright. Ground cobble. I should have connected it a little bit differently, but it is what it is. This guy will be. Alright, let me do this real quick. That's the last one for freedom. There. Middle one is ground. Like when the middle one is data, but I'll get it pretty quickly. And then last but not least, bubbles. Now I'm blocking the view from the main camera. I will get out of here quick enough. Quickly enough. Maybe. So time for the truth. Want to make this blow up? Or release the magic smoke, I say so. I want to build a little 3D printed enclosure for the matrix. Alrighty. So, yeah, good idea. Using hex codes instead of RGB, that would save a lot of time. Alright, let's see. So visible from both. Let's for this guy. Not visible torch. Just gotta get my mess out of the way. I want to have all of those devices controlled from either interface. Let me see. Get the ESP32 in view as well. Where the magic happens. Sorry. Wanted to look somewhat decent. And then, let's see. So reset this guy. That's the code I was working on today earlier. One running on the matrix. The formatting for that one is a little different. Just because it takes two positions, so I already figured out the X, Y to say if I want 0, 0. Now I need to figure out which one is bottom left, bottom right, or bottom left, top right. So I want to do 0, 0. Let's turn it blue. Question is my matrix working at all? But yeah, no, wagon loads, that's a great idea. The webpage itself might be a little bit tricky, although doable. But it'd be fun to display the usernames on an OLED screen. That'd be fun. And I thought about doing even like scrolling messages, but I think I would need to monitor that. That gets a little can you set it and forget it kind of thing. So let's see. Okay. Yep. I just made a silly mistake. Message. I still don't know if the matrix will work or not. But that's not gonna go to the LEDs, I don't think. Maybe it will. But I am addressing. Oh yeah. Alright. Matrix is working. But I wanna do animations and fun stuff. But I'll mess around with the matrix. Let the two sticks be something that people can control, and I will mess around with that because I need to change the code. But yeah. So let me see if I miss anything. I think so. Wagon loads, you're telling me that at one time you were gonna control a motor with PWM, and you designed the circuit using a triangle wave with a 555 timer, good old 555 timer. And yeah, I chuckle. I think you might have heard that people always ask Brian Locke to use a 555 instead of a microcontroller. It's just become a running joke. They don't always ask him, but it's funny. Some of the feedback that he gets sometimes. Yeah, ever since I would do that level of design for signal design for school, like in electronics lab and stuff, but ever since then it's always been like microcontrollers. Like particularly for this type of project is I just put it in a microcontroller and generate the signal, which is a lazy way of doing it, an overkill way of doing it. So if it worked, which it sounds like it did for you, then that's awesome. Alright, so last thing I want to do is just I want to add an animation. Start doing like Easter eggs or something. And then, you know, later I'll abstract this out and try to make it more organized, because I'm just, you know, I have the help message running on here, which is, you know, somebody goes on Twitch, and perhaps I should do it on screen instead of there. Like if I go on Twitch and I type help, then that response comes from the ESP32. That message is here, and I'm actually reformatting it to say what you need to do for a matrix. And I might change the actual message structure to have the same message work for matrices and just single column arrays, but I'll worry about that later. So anyway, what I want to do now is, so I have the response to help, but let's say if that pixel string, I'll do it for both lowercase, which what I should do is just turn that string into lowercase, and that way I just need to worry about one thing. Yep. Is there on Arduino a string method to go to lowercase? Yep. That's what I thought. You just call it, it's a string method, right? Yep. Alright, so instead of doing this whole mess, substring, and then pixel string is pixel string. Why do you always do that? I think it's too lowercase. Bam. And then that way I don't need to do the 2 checks every time, which would be silly. Hopefully I don't I don't break something. This silly changes. And then I'll do the abstraction a little later, because obviously I want to have a function that is just animate and, you know, give it a parameter. Right now I won't give it a parameter. How about that? And then I'll call this rainbow, which is the first one. And I probably don't want to lock the code, so I might need to do this either on the second core or make sure it yields. See you, and how are you, my friend? Thanks for stopping by, mate. Hope things are going well for you. Did you get a chance to see the launch a little earlier? That's gotta be what, middle of the night for you. So funnily enough, because of you and a bunch of folks that are over in Europe, one of my next projects, I don't know if I'll do a video about it, but it's gonna be, I bought a bunch of those 4-number 7-segment LED displays for, that you can just build a clock and just a bunch of boards. I'm just gonna make one for each time zone and have it on top of my monitor. I look into buying the clocks, those little arrangement clocks for different time zones, and they're horribly expensive, like over $100 US. It's like, I'll build my own. It will take me forever in time wasted or invested. It will be probably more than that, but when I get that done, I'm gonna show it to you. That way I won't always say like, oh, this is the middle of the night for you when the launch happened. Anyway, funny you stopped by. I'm doing well. Again, thinking about way more projects than I should, but yeah, also got a chance to see the launch and was pretty happy with the outcome. It's a happy day for space exploration. But yeah, no, I know I sound like an idiot every time. I was like, I'm there. Yeah, but I'm still gonna look it up. So launch was around, say, 12 p.m., which is 12 hours ago. So time now in Australia. So yeah, so it was early, super early in the morning for you when the launch happened. Not super early, but early enough. Yeah, it's a little bit past midnight, almost 1 a.m., 12:48 in the morning. So a little bit earlier. I usually jump on the stream like at 3 a.m. here, but I mean, that was my quarantine schedule, which was backwards. Try to do everything at night. I would go out running to avoid people, but now it's slowly getting back to normal. We're still, stay at home. It's a little more relaxed, but starting to shift back a little bit. But what are you up to this afternoon? Doing a little work yourself? I see. So you caught the replay, nice. And yeah, it's been, it's interesting to hear them chime in about the few things going on, but nothing too major. Waiting to, again, it's always about what's next, what's coming next, and they were joking about it a little bit on the stream. And yeah, this one is in the books, even though it really wasn't. And yeah, this, as this, that's the state of that industry right now. What comes next? See what the Falcon Heavy will actually get to haul up there. Yeah, interesting time, like I said, for space exploration. So you working on my parts, nice. And yeah, I've seen a lot of interest on your Discord server about it. And yeah, I'll ask you online what plans do you have. Seems like a pretty interesting project, and again, it's a small niche, but it seems like it's a very in demand type of product. Yeah, it's a it's a never-ending story, huh? But I'm out here just messing around with some LEDs myself and procrastinating onto getting onto what's next. But it's fun stuff, and it gave me a chance to hop on Twitch for a little bit. So exactly. And I know you're talking about your my parts project, and I can imagine just. I'm sure it's the type of project that whenever you chat to someone, they'll have a seemingly unique request, but one that I don't know. Just envisioning those type of projects, and somebody will mention something. It's like, man, that would be a good idea. I don't know if people would use it, but it would be nice to have. So yeah, software, that type of software, having saying no to feature creep is it's a challenge. But yeah, we gotta do it from time to time. A little bit of procrastination, right? That's how we have our fun, and this is I'm sure you're the same way, right? Like with the tiny picos, and like I wish with not even my boards, just any board, get to make a project that I enjoy, but it's always about marketing and selling and demos and answering questions and technical support. It's like, can I hit the pause button for a little bit and just do my own thing? So this is what this silly project. This was for my last video, and I got carried away and started. It's like, hey, let's add more and more and more and more, instead of like starting the new one or doing other things like packing stuff that I gotta send to Amazon. So yeah, I know you understand the feeling. Oh, you're the worst one of them all for wanting more and more features. Yeah, I can certainly understand that. Yeah, but fun just seeing where you take it, and when you do like a proper beta release for it. So I think I chatted with you what seems like a long time ago. I think it was on Twitter, just casual conversation about it. It might have been when you were just getting started with a project. You were just looking for alternatives on how to just keep inventory. So I think on Twitter, a little bit tongue in cheek, but I mentioned, hey, nothing like an Excel sheet, and you laugh, but that's what I use, and always try to do something more sophisticated. But I work with someone else, and they're not on the techie side of things. Really good with inventory, but it's a friend of mine helping me with product stock and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, Google Doc, good enough. But I understand, like, the set of features, like, you want to know, like that conversation on Twitter, you really wanted to know when a particular part was running out of stock, or it was a very specific need that it was hard to replicate with another software. And I said, Sion, good luck, buddy. And the reason I chuckle is because it's someone who also had to do that, not so much anymore at the component level. It's a problem that I found myself in a lot, and never had the disposition to come up with a proper solution. So, but yeah, no, I applaud you, right? And that's why I'm following along your progress. I was gonna say your career, right? It's more than a career, right? It's your progress in this endeavor, because some of the issues you're facing, it's a completely different approach than than the one I had. So it's like, huh, you know, like maybe I should have had the disposition to, you know, try with the whole manufacturing saga, or say, you know, coming up with a proper solution for maintaining inventory. It's like, yeah, this is the proper way to do things, and yeah. So I'm following, keeping an eye on you. But I'll let you get to it. Always happy to chat, but don't want my procrastination to get in the way, to become your procrastination. And for you Wagalos, you tell me the LED strip. That's good to know, Sion. Your Wagalos tell me that you're doing with the LED strip to respond to the value of a stock. What do you mean by stock? No, thanks so much, Sion, for stopping by to say hi. Yeah, as usual, stay in touch. Yeah, Finny, my last feature of the night, I promise. I'll do a little animation. So. But oh, I see. For stocks, you want to make a little ticker. So use an LED strip to respond to the value of a stock. Yeah, I'm thinking values, just the RGBs. Yeah, you can use it as an indicator, and that's actually a good idea. Something in you know, with the current state of the economy, something to keep in mind, right? And you can use it for indicating absolutely anything, as long as that anything has an API. And I made a video a while back for, I don't know if it's published actually on YouTube. I don't think it is, but I made these little enclosures for an ESP3266 with an OLED shield. And I did make one. Let me pull it up real quick. But there were 3 applications. One was following the just doing like a weather station type of report, just your current weather, and with, you know, temperature, humidity, just pulling that from an API, online API. I had one for, can't remember what the second one was, and the third one was not a stock price but Bitcoin, and this was like 3 years ago amidst the Bitcoin hype. So I just made the little screen, just, you know, just display, track the value of Bitcoin with an API that provided those values. So instead of displaying it on an OLED screen, you can do it, you know, on the actual LED strip. You can make it proportional to whatever value you think Bitcoin should be at, or something like that. You saw it, okay. But yeah, just a fun toy project, nothing serious. But that's interesting. I don't know if I would use an LED strip, maybe for notifications, like if you're doing options and it gets executed or something, then have it alert you. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe, yeah, just have it, you know, if it's 16 LEDs, or let's say 15, on this 8th one be neutral, and then the other represent percentage, increase, decrease. If it goes up, it's green. If it goes down, it's red. Yeah, you can do interesting stuff with it. But for now, I want to get a simple rainbow animation on the matrix. And is that you on Twitch, by the way, the Perplex? Oh, no worries, Pete. You're welcome. Hopefully, as always, it's useful information. I love, getting some interaction. Again, one of the downsides of self-employment, right, is the lack of contact or direct, synchronous contact with both, whether it's customers or people, interested in what you're doing. So the streams have provided a great avenue for that. And again, it's been about 3 weeks now, and I'm kicking myself a little bit for not starting it earlier. So thank you for stopping actually by the stream. But before I call it a day, I'm stubborn and I want to get this really quickly implemented. So I need a new function that I'll call animate, and eventually it'll take a parameter, but for now that'll be empty. And I'm just gonna do a very simple animation, and not even an animation, just worry about filling up the colors first, and then I'll worry about the animating parts. So if I go to my ESP32 demos, I think actually it might be already in the script, but maybe not. I just have a simple fast LED code that just sets all the LEDs to a particular color. So it's not quite there. So I'll have my wheel function there. Fast LED show. Right. Obviously, I'm gonna be hating myself in the morning because this is very, pardon the language, but half-assed. And yeah. But I just want to see it working real quick. So this will go through all the LEDs, and it won't be perfect, but it'll do a little gradient, like color gradient on all of them. And it's blocking, which I'll need to change to non-blocking. And the way I trigger this will only be running on the matrix, the 8x8 matrix. And then it'll be it's a bunch of things I want to change, but for now should be good enough. really really half-baked implementation. I see, so this is, I think, to lowercase. It just works in place. It doesn't return the string. Arduino. Yep. My bad. Which, oh, kind of hate doing multiple methods on a single line. But it'd be kind of silly to just, this is not Python, so not the best of style to just have it dangling there for in-place methods. Oh, come on. What? So, okay, fine. So much for trying to keep a neat style. I don't know, with this we can compile. And then wagon loads. Can I recommend a large display that is low cost, and then your mom is in a nursing home and doesn't have a cell phone, and you have a way to send messages to an OLED, but it's too small to see across the room. You need a large display. Thing is that with those OLED screens, I think the biggest size is, for the typical ones that we use, are 1.5 inches. So they don't get really big for OLED technology. You can, I don't know what your framework is, like how you're sending those messages, but if it's possible, you can just have as big of a screen as you want. Just have a monitor and something that's able to drive HDMI or whatever digital video input form that you can, right? That's an easy solution. So if you consider a Raspberry Pi, and it could even be the Raspberry Pi Zero, in terms of keeping costs low and just using any cheap old monitor, then if you're sending those messages from where you are to where the screen would be in the room over Wi-Fi, then I think that code is very portable to, and one OLED, it's portable from a microcontroller or system on chip to a single board computer. That's one option. But to answer you, so OLED, I don't think there is. The e-paper stuff get pretty big and they work with microcontrollers. So you want to look, I think the biggest one I've seen is 7-inch, maybe 10-inch of the e-ink, e-paper, and that's very nice and contrasty, has a very high contrast. So if you don't care about colors, then you're gonna use e-paper. Those get pretty pricey, so that's why I would say an LCD. TFT is the other technology. You can find TFT displays that are fairly big, again 5, 7, even 10 inches. It just gets a little hairy with the drivers that can be driven by something like an ESP3266. So, but not OLED. Once you get to those sizes, you wanna do TFT or LCD. So low cost e-paper, those are sort of contradictory terms. E-paper gets pricey pretty quickly. So even like the small one, if you've seen some of my videos, I use a 3.5 inch and those are around $25. So I can imagine thing is that there are very few suppliers, so WaveShare is a really good one. But there isn't that whole much competition, so I don't know if their prices are competitive or not. Their prices are what they are. So, this is a 10 inch e-paper monitor, right? Huge, $539, but these are the ones I'm talking about. It does go down, but it's over $100, I would imagine, for 10 inches. And you can see this guys can be driven by an ESP3266. They sell their own boards, but they are pretty pricey. LCD can get you cheaper. And then some of these things, these are the screens that I was having in mind. These LCDs, I don't know how easy they might have a driver for them for the ESP3266. So WaveShare is a good starting point to see what's available, because they'll have a whole bunch of display choices, and then you can do a little more digging for looking for more competitive prices. So yeah, if she has a TV with HDMI, then that's an option, having a Raspberry Pi. And the tricky bit there is, when she wants to watch TV, she probably needs to be, if it has say 2 HDMI inputs, then if she wants to watch TV, she want to be on one input, and then if she wants to see the messages from the Raspberry Pi, she would have to be on the other input. Unless, I haven't tried this, so I can't tell you if it works. You have like an HDMI splitter and have both inputs go in, and have the Raspberry Pi only be active. How would that work? So yeah, just one cable going in to two female so a splitter, and just have the Raspberry Pi be active only, like a wake on LAN kind of thing. When it gets a message over the network, then it turns on HDMI, which I think lately can become active without having to unplug and plug it back in, which was the case a long time ago. So yeah, interesting. It's an interesting problem, but start on WaveShare, see what display options are available, and one of them would be to use a TV that's you already have it. B, if you need to get a new one, you can get a 22-inch LCD monitor for about half price than half the size on e-paper. And off the top of my head, I don't know the TFT prices, but they should be on here as well, I think. So TFT screen for Arduino, and they'll work with the ESP stuff. I've seen, the ones that are 3.5 inches. I don't know if they 2.8, 3.2, so, and they're definitely cheaper than e-paper as well. And some of them have like the resistive or the capacitive, so they can act as touch screens as well. But yeah, these are roughly the sizes that I've seen. Maybe they make them bigger. but they're the size of a shield for an Arduino Mega, like the biggest ones. This one looks pretty big. This is 4.3. So yeah, wave share. Let me share this with you. Exactly, you can blink. You can have a status indicator, and then that way, she knows how to. That needs to change the source. That's a good idea. All right. So. All right, uploading is done. Now I'll go in here, tell the matrix, and then, so yeah, I need to still work on some of, I'm in the middle of making some changes to Twitch. For the matrix, which I don't have it in the help message, it takes 2 numbers. So the X position and the Y position of the LEDs first, and then the 3 numbers for the color. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 numbers instead of 4. Let's think. This one I'm just gonna cheat. And it's use rainbow. Come on. That not work? Yeah. Now I need to reset. Nope. All right, so we got an animation. Yay! So the idea, yeah, and then I'll think about the formatting of that message a little bit later. But good to know that it kind of works, and obviously I'm not if obviously, but I can just control the pixels individually as well. So XY. So let's say we want to turn off what I think should be, I don't even know, because the matrix could be rotated, so we'll know what 0, 0 is after turning it off. So 0, 0 is that top left corner relative to at least the Twitch view. I can switch it over to this cam, which I don't know what. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, you gotta get rid of the auto. What does it have? Yeah. that just adjusts the brightness automatically. So get those guys in focus a little bit. Alright. It's a whole bunch of lights, so can't waste them all. There we go. And, so 0, is up here. I want to build a little enclosure for just propping that up and making it look a little bit nicer. And then let's see, let's get our bearings. 70. So X. So yeah. So X goes in this direction and Y increases downward. So say if I wanted to turn off now this corner, that will be 7. Just again getting my own bearings, and yeah, kind of hard to tell, but it is off. All right, so a little bit of progress. I fixed the matrix, just gave it a little bit more of a stable connection. It was a little wonky before, so this gives me something to work with while, you know, people want to stop by and they want to use the pixel stick, which I'll fix in a second so that it's in focus. Then they can. But the next thing is, once I get not bored but get the immediacy of producing or working on more content, I want to integrate this with YouTube chat and just show you how you can control hardware. They'll still be boring old LEDs, but just getting that interface in place with the chat makes a whole lot of a difference, and people can take it whatever they want. They can connect robots, they can connect sensors, although they have to be kind of actuators, right, for people to control. And I don't know, I saw a video where they've made Pokemon control via Twitch chat. So doing something like that, right, I can just have a game displaying on the main screen, and obviously it wouldn't be this camera, but it would be the display on my monitor, and then just have that react to commands coming in from the chat, and people can just chat amongst themselves and the game will just idle. But if they put in one of the keywords, then the game reacts to that. So I think that'll be fun. But I think I'll stop right now, go get a little bit of sleep, and then just be ready to get back at it tomorrow. So while loads, you stuck all the way through, thank you. And you're telling me that you have an old dot matrix. That'd be fun. For I don't think that's for relaying the messages themselves, but for just doing that little blink notification for her to just switch sources. Yeah, or I guess it could be a scrolling message saying, hey, you know, there's a message waiting for you, or kind of like a you got mail kind of notification. So, but I see. So yeah. And I guess if it's a sign itself, then that's a proper application for it. Yeah, LED, an LED dot matrix sign. Gotcha. So that's why you can just make the whole thing be a status indicator, or you can just have a message that, I don't know about the resolution, right? Like that's the problem with dot matrices. That if the resolution is too low, it's just hard to read. And but if it's big enough, then you might as well use that instead of the LCD or the TV. So, but that's what I was suggesting, that if it's not big enough or not good enough resolution, you can at least use it as an indicator to switch the source on the TV. Just an idea. And again, just ping me if you run into any questions with those very interesting projects. And I'm not just saying that. I was talking with Sion, right, the unexpected maker, on how I get very little time to work on actual projects. So I'm always jealous in a positive way for people who, that's why I always ask, what are you working on? Please tell me. I want to live vicariously through you into building cool stuff, like cool applications. So 5 inches tall and 30 inches. Okay, so I guess the how many LEDs vertically? Do you know the resolution? Because that's a tricky bit. Might be easy for you, but for your mom, just again, that blurring effect gets worse the older our eyes get. So if it's only, say, 8 LEDs, yeah, depends on your resolution. And but something to check. You already have it, and again, it's the kind of display that's meant for doing written messages, right? That's what they use in buses to announce what the next stop is going to be. So something to try. But worst case scenario, it's a great way of indicating, hey, switch the source of the TV, you have a message. Right. Yeah, 5x7 is the usual dot resolution for those type of screens. Yeah, at least the fonts that you can make, so it might be 7 pixels or 7 dots tall. Alright, I'll leave you to it, and again, just shoot me any questions that you have. I'll try to jump on stream maybe tomorrow, Sunday, or I guess later today, Sunday. And if not, in within 2 to 3 days, to chat about the progress on this chat controlled projects. So Waggle Notes and anybody else around, I wish you a good night if you're in the same time zone, or a good rest of your day if you're on a different one. So thanks so much for stopping by the stream, and I'll be seeing you soon.